obviously I'll try not to get too close to you guys. Thanks for kind of sitting where you are. Okay, so I got vaccinated, and they were like probably gonna have some symptoms. A lot of people kind of feel like crap when they get the second shot and everything. And my buddy had it, and he just felt kind of under the weather for a couple days. I was like, no, I've been fine. Like getting my workouts in, like feeling good. Like 8 o'clock at night, which is not normal for me, I am like crashing, like super tired, not sleeping well, and it's been like all week. So I'm running on fumes a little bit. I try and bring some energy to class, but I'm a little hazy and tired. So if I say anything that doesn't make sense, by all means, please call me on it. Okay? Be like, dude, you don't make sense. All right? Cool. Okay. Quickly, we'll actually go over this. So I will email this out to you guys, but just kind of walk you through it. You guys came in late. Make sure I get your name after class, so I can mark it here. Within the next couple weeks, I need you to do this. I'll send out the link. Okay, it costs $12. I'm sorry. I wish I could do something about that. That's actually a discount. But we're going to do something called Strengths Quest, and it's going to tell you about your top 5 strengths out of like 34. It's pretty interesting. Please take it seriously. You'll just go through a bunch of questions, set aside some time to do it, and we'll actually use it in class, okay, which is why I'm having you do it, okay? But I'll send out the link. You can actually just Google A&M Strengths Quest, find it. But it takes you here. You click on that one, number 2 there, and it says $20, but with your A&M email, it knocks it down to 12. So don't pay $20. Cool? So you go in here, you add a card, and when you go to check out, you single sign on. Okay, so you'll log in, set up an account, but make sure you use your A&M email. Cool? Okay, that'll get you the discount. So I'll send that out to everybody, but I just want to make sure that you guys know about it. Okay, here we go. Read these. Try to make them big. If you can't see, you can get closer. Pretty good, right? Some solid predictions there. Got them all? Okay, here's a couple more. Get a little more current. What do you think, Timmy?
They're kind of mind-blowing, honestly.
Especially when you look at who's saying it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got me from today?
Huh?
You got me from today?
Oh, there's plenty. Just go on Twitter.
Yeah.
I want to know what to look out for.
Yeah. Okay. We got them all? What do we think?
Where's the rocket mail?
Huh?
I want the rocket mail.
Yeah, right. I want rocket mail. I want a nuclear-powered vacuum cleaner, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds sick.
Okay. So, some pretty lousy predictions, right? Okay. By the way, we're going to have a little fun today. Okay, there's a point, so hang with me. Okay. All right, so this dude is an engineer in 1900. These are predictions he made would happen within the next 100 years. right? Are Americans a little bit taller? Yeah. Why?
Agriculture, better nutrition.
Nutrition. Absolutely. Yep. Good. What else? Express trains will travel 150 miles an hour. We got that covered, right? Yep. Okay. Easy. Ready-cooked meals will be bought from establishments similar to our bakeries today. We have those, right? Okay. Man will see around the world. Persons and things of all kinds will be brought within focus of cameras connected electrically with screens at opposite ends of circuits, thousands of miles that span. What's he talking about?
Twitch.
Huh? Did you say
Like-
Twitter?
No, Twitch. It's a live stream.
Twi- It cracks me up when you guys go hyper focused on this. What's he talking about? You're not wrong.
Skype.
A little broader.
Video calling.
The internet, right? Just in general. You guys have like it's never not been a part of your life, so it's kind of hard to think about that, right? Yeah, it always kind of cracks me up when you guys are like something really specific, like Skype or whatever. But you're right, okay? Huge forts on wheels will dash across open spaces at the speed of express trains. What are we talking about there?
Tanks.
Tanks, yeah, or what did we not really have in 1900 that everybody has now? Cars, trucks, yeah. But I'd take tanks for sure, okay? Okay, he made some more. See, right? What are we talking about? Physicians be able to diagnose internal organs with rays of light. What are we talking about?
X-rays.
X-rays, yeah, or CAT scans, MRIs, all of that, right? Okay. 350 to 500,000 people in the country. Did we nail that one?
Yep.
Kind of overshot that like quite a lot. Okay. So he was a little low there, but he knew the population would grow. Anyone unable to walk 10 miles in a stretch would be considered a weakling. Where are we at on that one?
That's insensitive.
Yeah. Okay. Huh?
It's a 12-mile ruck, I tell you what.
Yeah. Okay. Can everybody do this? Nah. But we're a lot better shape in general than we used to be, right? Okay. We were doing really good until the 80s, and then that's when we start having a lot of health problems, which that's a whole other topic. Hurry traffic will be above and below ground. What's he talking about?
Freeways.
Subways. Yep. Or the L if you're from Chicago, race train, above ground train. Okay. Photographs will be telegraphed from any distance. What do we got there?
Emails.
Email, yep. Satellites, all that good stuff, right? Even texting. Vegetables will be bathed in electric light. We good?
Yep.
He's right. Strawberries. Strawberries are really small. Has anybody ever seen strawberry seeds?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen a strawberry?
Yes.
Then you've seen a strawberry seed. That's the little tiny yellow thing on the outside. Strawberries were actually really, really small. Now you can buy them like this, right? They're humongous. Okay. So he's pretty good. Okay. All right. What are we talking about here?
Change.
There you go. Good. Yeah, you can read. Good job, Timmy. Okay. So how do we do it? Okay. How do we actually instigate change? Because this is hard, right? And the reason we talk about it here and now, okay, look, none of you are broken. Most of you are pretty sharp, right? Most of you are pretty good kids, okay? You've got some leadership capabilities already, right? You have to. You're a sophomore, right? We're already in spring semester, sophomore year. Almost an upperclassman, okay? So none of you are broken, but I think we can make you a little better, right? That's what we're trying to do here. So if we actually want to change, you guys even wrote about it with what you read last week, right? What did we talk about last week in your discussion post?
Talk about leadership that you've seen in your life growing up.
Huh?
Leadership that, just like role models that you've seen in your life.
No, the discussion post, this most recent one.
From this recent one.
Study
Oh,
habits
okay.
and how to change.
Study habits, right? And what you guys all talked about them, right? Like some of them you were already doing, which is awesome, and some of you are like, ugh, I've had terrible habits, right? That's a good thing. I'm glad you learned that. That's why I show that to you. Some of you learned how to reinforce some things you're already doing well. Some of you picked up a few things. You're like, oh, this obviously doesn't help just to reread stuff over and over again, right? And some of you picked up on like the learning styles. Did that throw anybody off? Like everyone kind of has different learning styles. I don't throw that out the window, but that doesn't mean you can't adjust yours for the course or curriculum, right? So it's up to you. Okay, so if you want to instigate change, someone has to actually start acting differently. Do we talk about digging a ditch in here? I told you guys dig a ditch. You're like, no. And I told you why, and then you were willing to do it. If you want to change a situation, you can't just change their minds. You have to change their hearts. Oh, that's so sweet.
Hearts and minds, dude.
Right. Hearts and minds disagree. How many of you, I'll prove it. Does anyone not believe me? You can disagree. It's okay. But I'm going to prove it. How many of you have a friend who's dating someone that you know is terrible for them? And you can see it, right? And you're like, dude, or do that. You're like, don't be with them, right? They're terrible for you, or they treat you like crap, whatever. But they're in, right? They're not giving up. No, they mean the world to me. They treat you like shit, okay? That's because your heart and mind disagrees. Deep down, that person probably knows in their head it's not a great situation, okay? But their heart, no, I'm in love, right? It's a terrible situation, okay? Get out of that as soon as you can. Going to happen to you. If you don't have a friend like that, you're that friend. Somebody does not like your boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay? So it's hard. You have to get the heart and mind together if you actually want to instigate change. Okay? Why? Why is that so hard? What do we think? Why is it so hard to make change?
Well, generally, change has usually change has negative, at least initial reactions.
It has negative trying to get people to change?
Yeah.
Can be taken negatively?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like I think in general people don't like change.
Yeah, you're right about that. What else? Did you say something?
Yeah, I was saying that we're comfortable with where we are right now, so why change it if we feel okay?
Yeah, right? Did anybody that happened last year as a fish? Trying to get you to do something different? You're like, no, I don't want to. Right? Should you have?
Probably.
Probably. I don't want to, but I probably should. Okay, fair enough. All right. Let's get to it. Okay, this is actually something, we actually shifted 381, and we get into this a ton. Okay? I have a psych major in here, right? Yeah, okay. I don't know. Tell me if you've heard of this. Okay? In 1998, the psychologist did an experiment. That's not very long ago. And this was groundbreaking. Okay? This guy takes people in a room. I'm going to take you guys, I'm going to put you in a room, and it smells like homemade chocolate chip cookies. You ever come home and your mom has made homemade chocolate chip cookies? Best day ever, right? If that hasn't happened to you, let me know. I'll do it for you. It's the best thing that's ever happened. Walk in your house, smells like cookies. After school, it's going to be a good afternoon. Okay? I'm going to put you in a room, and it smells like chocolate chip cookies. And then I'm going to show you pictures of chocolate chip cookies. What do you want right now?
Chocolate.
You want some damn chocolate chip cookies, right? Okay? And then I'm going to bring out radishes. Gross, right? Who likes radishes? Maybe in your salad, right? Some? You just eat them by yourself? No. No. Gross. Okay? Fair enough. No disrespect to the radish community. Okay? But they give them radishes. And after that, they ask them to do a task, like a small puzzle, right? How did those people do with that task? Poorly. Why? Yeah, I wanted some damn cookies, right? Then we take another group, okay, and we gave them cookies. Then we gave them the task. How did they do? Well. Why?
Because they got what they wanted.
Got what they wanted, but what does that tell you? What did they have that the other group didn't?
They had the want to.
Want to, consistency. A little deeper. Do you know? Have you heard of this?
Satisfaction.
Willpower. Your willpower is limited. It is not a constant. How many of you said I'm going to study tonight and not done it? I'm going to go to the rec tomorrow and not done it. Right? We do that all the time. That is our willpower. Okay? He did this in 1998, and it was groundbreaking. People were like, holy crap. There's been a million studies after this. And actually, when we get to 381, which we just redesigned. The book is called The Willpower Instinct, and we go deep into willpower habits. Okay, and some of them you have that are good, some of them you don't even know that are bad, and then we kind of work through how to fix them. Okay, so 381, really fun. Okay, there's a picture. First Aggie yelled at her. No, okay, just check. All right. Okay. So, I used to kind of argue like our brains are not like a muscle; they're more like software. You kind of got to update them. But willpower, 100%, is just like a muscle. You have to work it out, right? Who does not like PT? Okay, fair enough. How do you get better at PT?
Do PT.
Do PT, right? Run just a little bit further. 30 more seconds. Run a little more, okay? Then you get better, right? Don't like running? No, hate it, right? But you got to do it, right? And do you get better at running? Eventually, yeah, okay? Your willpower is no different, believe it or not, okay? And here's how your brain works. You have your emotional side. That's instinct, pleasure, pain. That's easy. You know fire's hot, right? Ice is cold. If you're at an Aggie football game, you can pick your mom's face out of a crowd pretty easily, right? The problem is, that's your emotional side is the irrational side, okay? Your emotional side makes poor decisions by taking shortcuts, right? If you actually need to make a complicated decision or think about something, your brain will take shortcuts, right? Your rational side, that's what will actually sit down and look at it, okay? We'll think through it. Do I want to buy this stock, right? You got to work through it. You got to do a little research, do a little homework, decide if you want to do it. But if you take the emotional side, you bought GameStop right away, right? And then it was at $400,
Oh, gosh.
and then it tanked, okay? So if you bought it too high, you made a poor decision, right? That tends to be how our brain works. This is no different than you guys in school. Study more, work out more, okay? I'll eat better. All of those things are testing your willpower. All of them. All the time, okay? That's why I like 381. Okay. So change is hard because here's what happens in the workforce, all right? You guys are going to be at your companies, you're going to be young new people in your companies, and you're going to be having people do things. I don't care, civilian or military, whatever you want to do. Things are going to get cruising right along. You're going to give people a project and it's not going to go well. Okay, here's a few reasons why. What looks like a people problem is often a situation problem. You think you laid out a clear path of how to get the job done. They can't see the path. Okay, it's not clear to them whether it's the getting their minds behind it, getting their hearts into it, whatever it is. Okay, you have to lay out a clear path. And even though sometimes we think we've done it, we often haven't done a very good job. How many tell fish to do something and they suck? Is it their fault?
Yes.
Always, right? Okay? No, it's probably yours, unless they're total turds, right? But we're getting there. It's spring semester. They better be a little better, okay? And that's on you guys, right? It's my only yes. Some of you are like, no, I'm not gonna admit to that. Okay. Also, has anybody ever ridden an elephant? I use elephant instead of horse, because have you? Man, my man's been everywhere. Was it fun?
It was.
Was it easy to get him to go where you wanted?
I wasn't driving.
Okay, so you just hanging out?
Yep.
Okay. Do you think it's easy to get an elephant to go where you want him to go?
No.
No. Now, a horse, you can just point the horse's head, right, and he'll go. Elephant's a little harder. What looks like laziness is often exhaustion. Elephant's tired. Elephant doesn't want to go anymore. Fish are tired. Fish don't want to go anymore. Think back to last year. Some of you want to be like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? Okay, that's what happens, okay? And what looks like resistance is a lack of clarity, okay? You're trying to direct the rider. Who knows you should eat healthier? Why don't you?
Inconvenient.
Huh?
Inconvenient.
Inconvenient, right? Way easier to go to Whataburger, right? It's delicious. Love Whataburger, okay? Should you eat Whataburger every day? Absolutely, my man. Okay. Probably all things in moderation. Here's the hardest part about nutrition. Everybody lies about what they're eating. It's one of the hardest things to study. Okay, one of the only ways we can study nutrition is prisons and like state-run hospitals, because we can control what you eat. Because everybody lies about what they eat. So it's really hard to study nutrition. But we've basically proven that everything is bad for you. just about everything. Okay, so eat a balanced meal. That's kind of all we really know. Shouldn't eat too much of any one thing. And I like barbecue. Okay. All right, so what influences your guys' decision making? Dre's right, trying to make money. Okay. How many of you done some really stupid stuff? Yeah. You ever do some shit in high school and you're like, we should not be alive right now? Yeah, poor decision making. Okay? Boyfriend, girlfriend? This is like the most average looking white couple I've ever seen. Okay. I think they're wearing the same size jeans. Your parents? Yeah. How of them ask you, how's school going? You're like, great. Liars. Liars. Okay. Hopefully you've just only seen this in upperclassmen. This is not you guys. Anybody 21 yet? You are? Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. How many of you have seen upperclassmen looking like idiots coming home from Northgate? Probably. Okay. You're going to do the same thing, right? Okay. So, again, we're going to the workforce. Who can change the organization? Out of these four, intern, employee, manager, president. Who can change that organization?
All of them.
Beautiful. Absolutely correct answer. Does that also look like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior?
Mm-hmm.
Who can influence the core?
All of them.
Most of you guys don't think that way. Most of you think, until I have a leadership position, then I can change the core. That's not true. Absolutely not true. Okay? There's ways to do it, right? You have a chain of command. You can't just run up to GRAM, right? Be like, hey, we should do this. Okay? He's going to like, slow down. Okay? Pump the brakes. Go through your chain of command. Maybe. But you might have a really good idea. Okay? Don't lose sight of that. It's not, we talked about power last week, right? Different types of power. Title and rank, they don't mean much. Okay? If you don't believe me, we'll get into that in a little bit. Okay? The current leadership model we have in the core right now, you know where that came from? You know who instigated that change?
Cadets.
Cadets. Mostly sophomores, to be honest. They were like, this isn't quite right. And if you talk to old ags, if you tell some old ags what you guys are doing now, 95% of them will absolutely love it because they think it's so much better than what they had. Okay, the core almost got shut down years ago. There's not very many left, right? This place was the Wild West in not a good way.
What did we have before the foreign class system?
You didn't have one. You did not really have one. Okay, you had the classes, but you did not have defined leadership model. Okay, so again, and when you guys came in as heads, you thought you were just supposed to yell at the fish, right? Because that's what they did to you. Okay, fine, okay, to some extent, sure. Stress people, that helps push them, right? Okay, but again, you're going to be hard-pressed to find anywhere in the real world where just yelling at people is constructive, okay, or helpful. Okay? That's a good question. Any career readiness people? Okay, well, if you get to know Colonel Allison, he was in the Corps. He will tell you this. He's like, we didn't have any of this. Okay? All right. Oh, good. One of my favorites. Make sure my volume's up. Works. Has anybody seen this before? Good.
So what's this? The taster's choice moment between guys?
This is really nice. You gotta think this one, since it's like a fetish, it's something like maybe we need to devote some time to.
Thought about what you said to me the other day about my painting. Stayed up half the night thinking about it. Something occurred to me. I fell into a deep, peaceful sleep, and I haven't thought about you since. You know what occurred to me?
No.
You're just a kid. You don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about.
Why, thank you.
It's all right. You've never been out of Boston.
Nope.
If I asked you about art, you'd probably give me the skinny on every art book ever written. Michelangelo. I know a lot about him. Life's work, political aspirations, him and the Pope, sexual orientation, the whole works, right? I bet you can't tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. You never actually stood there and looked up at that beautiful ceiling. Seen that? If I ask you about women, probably give me a silver say your personal favorites. You may have even been laid a few times. But you can't tell me what it feels like to wake up next to a woman and feel truly happy. You're a tough kid. I ask you about war, you'd probably throw Shakespeare at me, right? Once more into the breach, dear friends. But you've never been near one. You've never held your best friend's head in your lap. Watch him gasp his last breath, looking to you for help. I ask you about love. Probably quote me a sonnet. But you never looked at a woman who'd been totally vulnerable. Known someone that could level you with her eyes. Feeling like God put an angel on earth just for you. Could rescue you from the depths of hell. And you wouldn't know what it's like to be her angel. To have that love for her, be there forever. Through anything. Through cancer. And you wouldn't know about sitting up in a hospital room for 2 months, holding her hand, because the doctors could see in your eyes that the terms visiting hours don't apply to you. You don't know about real loss, because that only occurs when you love something more than you love yourself. I doubt you've ever dared to love anybody that much. I look at you, I don't see an intelligent, confident man. I see a cocky, scared, shitless kid. But you're a genius, Will. No one denies that. No one could possibly understand the depths of you. But you presume to know everything about me because you saw a painting of mine. You ripped my fucking life apart. You're an orphan, right? Do you think I know the first thing about how hard your life has been? How you feel? Who you are? Because I read Oliver Twist. Does that encapsulate you? Personally, I don't give a shit about all that, because you know what? I can't learn anything from you. I can't read in some fucking book. Unless you want to talk about you, who you are. And I'm fascinated. I'm in. But you don't want to do that, do you, sport? You're terrified of what you might say. I move, Chief.
Whew. Tough, right? Why did I show it to you? Did we not sing Good Will Hunting? You? Several of you. Okay, cool. It's like 20-something years old now. Why did I show it to you?
To tell us we have to experience things.
Yeah, that's you guys. Sorry. Okay. You guys are really smart. We talked about information and knowledge, remember? You guys are really smart. I don't doubt that. You know way more about chemistry than I do, I guarantee it. Okay? But there's a whole other world out there. Right? There's a whole lot of things that you guys have to learn and experience. Right? And most of the time, when we're young and we're going through it, we don't think about that. It's kind of hard to think. You don't know what you don't know. Right? And that's a tough situation. That's why we have SOMS. That's why we're here. Okay? I can make you a veterinarian. Right? What you want to do? Okay? I can make you an engineer. Right? It's really hard to make you a good leader. It's way harder. Okay? Again, you guys aren't broken. Most of you are pretty good people. Okay? But I think we can make it better. All right? So if you haven't seen that movie, by the way, that's a phenomenal movie. Okay? He's like a super genius, but he's got some issues. It's really good. And it also makes me sad because that's Rob Williams and he's dead now.
Sorry, what was it called?
Good Will Hunting.
It's on.
Is it on Hulu right now? Great movie. Also, the reason I teach you guys about study habits, I wish to God somebody would have showed me that stuff when I was your age, because I would fall asleep to this movie as an undergrad thinking it would make me smarter, because he was smart. It's a total waste of time. Okay, but it's a good movie. Okay. What was the title of the presentation? Good. Secret of Life. Okay, Secret to Life. What are we really talking about?
How to initiate change.
Only one paying attention so far? Everybody else is asleep? Good. Kenneth is nodding in agreement. Okay. Again, trying to show you what's going to happen in the workforce. Everybody loves Michael Scott, right? When you go work somewhere, you guys are going to be young, you're going to have your degree, you're going to have your ring, right? Everything's going to be awesome, okay? And there's going to be somebody that you work with that's been doing the job for 25 years that has no degree, okay? Do they know more than you?
Yes.
Probably, okay? Don't be the one who has it all figured out. Listen to that person. Listen to others, right? Several of you want to go in the military, right? You're going to be young officers. You're going to want to be badasses and come in guns blazing, okay? You got a lot to learn. Some of those senior enlisted personnel will be like, I'm not saluting you until you make second lieutenant, okay? Right? There's a lot to learn, and that's okay. Just be aware of that, all right? What happens in the workplace is people rise to the level of their incompetence, which means you will keep going up to the ladder until you get in over your head, right? Who can't wait to be done with school because they won't have homework anymore? I got some bad news for y'all. You never stop learning. Okay? You never stop learning. It's like, no, it'll be great. I'll just have my job and I won't have a test and a sign. No, it'll be something else. Okay? There's always more. But never stop learning. Okay? Because at some point you're going to rise up to the level where you're in over your head. All right? That's what the Peter Principle is. Okay. What do we know about George Washington?
He was the president.
President, good start. Hope so. What else?
He was British.
He was. He was of English descent. Yes. What else?
Really like farming.
Farming. Yep, absolutely. Good farmer. Okay. What else?
He was a general.
He was a general. Okay. We're starting at the top. Was he born a general?
No.
No. Why did he join the American forces? Does anybody know? He wanted to be a British officer. He couldn't afford it. You used to have to buy your commission. It'd be pretty sweet, right? You just buy a commission. Okay? His dad died. He had older brothers, I think a sister, but he had older brothers. His dad died when he was like, I think 12, 13, somewhere in there. So they kind of ran out of money by the time he got older, and he couldn't afford to be a British officer. He wanted to. That's the only reason we got George Washington. That's why he flipped sides. So then he becomes an American officer, and on his first expedition, they've got some Native Americans with him that are helping him guide, right? And they go find this group of people who are French, and the Native American kills a French diplomat, takes an axe to his head. Rough start, right? He almost starts a war between one of our only allies at the time, France and the United States, okay? Our developing country. That's how Washington started out. The stuff we see in history is how they want to present it. Okay? President, general, farmer, innovator, good leader, right? He was super insecure about his education, hanging out with the founding fathers. Benjamin Franklin, super educated, right? Classically educated. Washington wasn't. Now, Washington was super good looking, believe it or not, for the time. He was tall. My man, right? Okay? So when he walked into a party, like Franklin, Jefferson, all those guys, they were really smart, so people liked them. Washington was just good looking, right? In uniform. Scored with the ladies. Okay? Solid. But he was super insecure about his intellect, so he read like crazy. Okay? And developed into being a good leader. Was not born that way. It was a rough road. Okay? It was not easy. What do we know about Ulysses S. Grant? Another general? Yep. Huh? Became president. Excellent. History major, right? You better know. Do you know what the S stands for?
Simpson.
Nothing. He went to West Point. And when he checked in, they made a mistake and wrote down S as his middle name. He doesn't have a middle name. So he's been Ulysses S. Grant forever. Okay. What else we know about Grant?
He was a recovering alcoholic during the war.
Okay, good. This always comes up. The rumor about Grant and alcohol was he drank when he was bored. Sound familiar? Okay. That's kind of what we know about him. When he wasn't fighting, when there wasn't something going on, and he got out of the military and was basically a failed salesman, right? And then it was pre-Civil War. I think he was fighting down here in Texas. Can't remember now. But then he goes back in the military. That's where he excelled, okay? And learned a lot of humility because he had failed as a salesman. And he got fired multiple times as our general, right? Fighting for the Union. He got fired multiple times. He screwed up multiple times, okay? But he kept coming back. He didn't give up, right? And then turns his becoming a general into president of the United States. Okay? Pretty solid road, but hard earned, right? I love everybody brings up alcohol every time. You guys like only remember the worst things about people in history. Okay, who's Meriwether Lewis? Lewis and Clark. Okay, you know what happened to him at the end of his life?
Did he hang himself or did Clark hang himself?
He killed himself. Okay, so Lewis and Clark are the most famous people in the country after the expedition, and pretty well known around the world. Okay, Clark turns it into I think he became a congressman or a senator. Okay, Lewis felt like he screwed up after that and didn't capitalize on the fame and fortune that he had, and killed himself. Please don't do that. Okay, please. Things aren't that bad. Call me. Okay, I got a couch you can sleep on. It's never that bad. Okay, you guys are going to get out of the court. If things aren't going well, I bet you got a buddy you can call and sleep on his couch. Please don't do this. Okay? So had some good things going, and it went downhill, and he took his own life. Terrible. Oh, my favorite. Was Hitler a good leader? Yes? Yes? Yes?
He was a great speaker.
Good speaker. Does that make him a good leader?
No.
No. Was Hitler a good leader?
No.
Kenneth says no. What do you got, Haley? He was what? Affected? Oh, effective. Was he?
His organization was.
Okay.
So he just got a lot of good people to run his country pretty much while he spoke and took everything. If you actually look at like what he did militarily, each time he made a decision, they were almost all failures.
Yes.
devastatingly. And
Yes.
each time he tried to do something in the civilian world, they just lost a bunch of money.
Was Hitler a good leader? No. Okay. That's an excellent point. Well done. Okay, you guys brought up good stuff. Okay, most people like to say yes because Germany had gone through a recession, built him up, built the war machine, did great. Was he murdering millions of people?
Yep.
Can you discount that?
Nope.
You can't separate that, right? A lot of guys, you guys will do that. I'm glad you brought up effective because some of you would be like, well, he was effective, but he was a murderer, which is weird, right? Vegetarian and a painter. I think he was painting a tree and he was like, damn, I can't get the tree. I'll kill everyone in this world.
Yep.
Huh? Right, yeah, if he'd have got into art school, okay? And actually, if you look post-World War I, that's where a lot of his anger and aggression came in and all that stuff, okay, from what Germany felt really wrong, okay? And the Treaty of Versailles was a disaster, okay, for Japan, Italy, and Germany, okay, if you want to get into it. But you guys brought up great points. Hitler, we figured out it was better to leave him alive later in the war than to kill him. We could have got to him, but he was so terrible as a tactician, it was better to leave him alive. They were failing everywhere. And their initial attacks, when they just started in Europe, okay, they did blitzkrieg, right? Which was brilliant. You go attack, you bomb the hell out of them, then the tanks and infantry come in, and they're already demolished. Great warfare tactic. They were moving so fast that nobody could react. Okay? And he got mad that his generals kept going. And he pulled them back because he hadn't told them to. That's how big his ego was. He was a terrible tactician. Great speaker. Had some strengths in organization. Did he ever win an election?
Yeah.
Well,
Not
Nope.
Technically, he was democratically elected, but he was like the only one on the ballot.
He was appointed. Yeah. Yeah. Never won an election. Okay. That's pretty good. A lot of you guys will get really adamant about it, and I'm just generalizing cadets when I bring this up. You guys are like, no, Hitler was really good. He did a lot of good things. Yes, he did. But you can't discount that he was a raving, murderous lunatic.
Yeah, but
Which is why I say, was he a good leader? Okay.
he
Can't
was
throw him
a
aside.
leader.
Okay. Who's Tom Anderson? This is your SAT question. One of these things is not like the other. Anybody know?
A guy named Tom.
Anybody remember MySpace? Anybody have MySpace? You guys are like too young. Okay. Everybody know what MySpace is? Okay, it was like pre-Facebook. Okay. He was your first friend.
Yeah, he was everyone's friend.
Yeah, he was your first friend, okay, because he started MySpace. All the other social medias came along, Facebook came along and buried it, right? So people were critical of MySpace. You failed. What's funny is there was a brief shift. So MySpace was like high school and college, right? It was younger. And Facebook came along and started in colleges. And then as everyone got on it, younger people, teenage, high school kids and stuff, and even some college, shifted back to MySpace because your parents and grandparents were getting on Facebook. So it was actually kind of a return there for a little bit, okay? So everybody makes fun of Tom for having failed. Do you know how much he sold MySpace for?
Couple $100 million.
Over 500 million. Tom doesn't work anymore. Okay.
Tom made
So people can be critical of others, right, and not appreciate what they've accomplished. All of these people have gone through ups and downs to get there. You guys are going to go through ups and downs through life. Okay? Don't give up. Right? It's not always going to be easy. Your career is not always going to go the way you want it. Right? But don't give up on it. Okay? So, keep asking you this. And we'll start getting into it. So, what I've been working on is kind of throwing a lot of things at you guys. Okay? And now we'll start shifting towards getting into the book a little bit and a little more discussion in class, a little less lecture. Sound good? Okay? But I want to give you guys some foundations about power and leadership and our morals and things that we're going to be talking about moving forward. Okay? So, we'll shift away from lecture moving forward. Sound good? Okay, but I wanted to give you guys a foundation for that stuff. So we'll dive into the book this week, and we're going to start working on you guys. I will send a link for Strengths Quest. Is 2 weeks enough time to get that done? Okay, I'll give you guys a couple weeks. Again, I'm sorry, it's $12 to do that, but we're going to start working on that stuff. And then there's a couple others that we'll do that are free. But we're going to start identifying what you guys are good at and working on. Okay, we're going to start identifying your strengths the rest of the semester. Sound good? Cool. All right. Any questions for me? Did we learn anything today? What did we learn? You nodded, now you're in trouble.
Hitler wasn't a good leader.
Good, all right. What'd you learn?
I learned that, yeah, I was going to say Hitler was a bad leader.
Okay, good. Yeah, was that new to anybody? Did some of you just kind of shifting your thinking, right? Okay, good. Tell people. Right? Go tell them. Hitler was a bad leader. They're like, yeah, I know. Others won't be. Some people are like, no, what are you talking about? Cool. Have a wonderful week. Discussion post is up, and everything's in there. Sound good? All right.